You're tuned into the VSX Digital Sports Network. You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express. Giving you that grease.
Back at you live one more time. JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express. Saturday morning, college football, week 5. And I'm here to give you some picks. I got him on the line with me, my main man, John Ryan. Predictive sports betting playbook. RotoWire.com contributor and one of the top handicappers in America. Good morning, John. How you doing?
I'm doing great, JB. How are you doing out there?
I'm waking up, man. I'm getting it done here this Saturday. It's a nice and sunny day here in Las Vegas. Weather has been a factor in the southeast. We're going to be talking about it. Got him on the line as well, the main man over at the Rampart Casino, Ronny B. Here in Vegas. Again, good morning, Ronny. How you doing?
Good morning, JB. Doing good. It's a beautiful Saturday morning.
That's what we got to do, and keeping it locked and loaded here. KSHP 107.1 FM, AM 1400. Week 5 in college football. Got a couple of dogs on deck today. Most importantly, we're going to tell you where to find that cash. Got BYU, Baylor, Kentucky, Ole Miss, Wisconsin, USC, Fresno State, and UNLV. UNLV's got a new quarterback, and they're in the dog position. We're going to be talking about that on the half hour with my main man, Mark Hayes, station director, live here in studio this morning to go over the situation at UNLV. He's a UNLV alumnus, so who better to give us the inside grease on what really went down over at the university. But you guys keep it locked here with me, JB the Ticket, because most importantly, we're here this morning early. Thank you guys for listening and tuning in, all you loyal fans out there. I really do appreciate you over the years. It's time to wake up and get that money.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket.
Get ready to showcase your brand to the exploding sports betting and fantasy sports audience to elevate your business this season. Advertise on the VSX Digital Sports Network, broadcasting locally on KSHP and nationwide on iHeartRadio. Experience the power of digital and broadcast radio with great value, fast results, and no hassle. Reach a dedicated audience and watch your brand soar this season. Discover why VSX flagship show, Vegas Scoreboard Express Live, is rated #1 on GoodPod, 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, and top 5 on FeedSpot for best radio podcasts in Las Vegas. Get your brand in front of an engaged and loyal audience who are looking for the best sports advice and great offers. Advertise with VSX Digital Sports Network. Your success is our commitment. Visit VSXDigitalSportsNetwork.com or call 702-909-0585. Take your business to new heights this season. Don't miss out on this opportunity to connect your brand with sports enthusiasts across the nation with VSX Digital Sports Network. All money, all sports, no bull. Visit VSXDigitalSportsNetwork.com or call 702-909-0585. Log on or call today.
Skip your cable bill this month and join the action with JB and Fubo TV. Get 7 days free, 15% off your first month. No credit check, no deposit, no installation hassle. Go to FuboTV.com/JB. Sign up, download the app, and start watching games.
Enjoy being a subscriber after the first month. Easy cancellation anytime. Regional restrictions apply. Sign up at VegasScoreboardExpress.com.
Yo. You're in the mix. You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express. Giving you that grease.
All money, all sports, no bull. That's what I'm here for, and I'm not trying to hear it this morning. JB the Ticket and Vegas Scoreboard Express back at you live. Dogs are barking. The pound has got to get loose. We need to get that cash back in our pocket. John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook. Locked on the line with me. John, good morning. You hear the grease. It's hot in here. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm here.
And also Ronny B. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what we had last night in college football. Some interesting wins. Got a team out in Piscataway, New Jersey, just doing really, really well. Let's talk about it. Rutgers. This is out your way, John Ryan. That's why I wanted to start off the show with you. The Rutgers Scarlet Knights. These guys are 4-0 in college football. Big Ten team didn't expect to see this type of performance out of Rutgers, but they pulled out the win last night, a field goal to take it over at the end, 21-18 over the Washington Huskies. So the Washington Huskies still respectable at 3-2 in their move to the Big Ten, but Rutgers, wow, have they really improved that much to be a Big Ten contender this year? Go ahead, John Ryan.
It's hard not to make them a contender at this point. They are 4-0. They're 1-0 in the Big Ten, and this was the first time that Washington has had to travel to the East Coast, which is something I'm monitoring with the new realignment. You know, East Coast teams are going to have to go to Southern California. For example, Penn State goes out there, I think, next week. So it will be quite interesting to see how the travel affects their performance on the field, and then, you know, hopefully they'll have enough time to still study and remain student athletes. But I say that tongue-in-cheek, of course. But the Rutgers team is well coached. There's no question about it. There seems to be more discipline with the players this year, maintaining their gap discipline, for example, and the results are undeniable.
There you go. They're playing well.
Off Washington there at the end, but they won the game 21-18, and that's really all that matters. Manan guys ran for 132 yards and a touchdown. So as long as they can run the ball, guys, I think they're going to be a threat in any game.
There you go, talking to Ronnie B here in Las Vegas. Again, you were at the Rampart putting things together. Let's talk about another 4-0 team, the Army Black Knights, not the Scarlet Knights this time. Talk about those Black Knights for West Point, 4-0. They're playing in their conference in their division, beating all up on Temple with that triple option offense. Seeing a lot more passes from the Army as well. They're modernizing that offense as the way they're modernizing our defense here in America. Shout out to all the first responders, all those young kids that are signing the original NIL. 42-14, beating up on Temple a couple days ago. So again, when you look at where the opportunity is for some of these smaller schools that are not really known to be dominant as football schools, being in that position of undefeated, do you think now the sports books may keep them as a dog depending on their schedule, or do you think they're going to be moving into a favored position and expected to win by a touchdown or more? Go ahead, Ronnie B.
You're talking Army here. I watched that game against Temple. I just think the class of Army showed over Temple. Temple really had no answers for Army's running option. And then they sneak a couple passes in on them and they're wide open because they weren't expecting. So I think Army's got a decent team. I just don't think when they step up in class, it's gonna show.
Right. And again, their defense, a lot of good work that we see on defense, and it has been an exciting time for you as well this week, because if you looked at one of the games that we saw, again, shout out to all the people down in South Florida trying to rebuild from the hurricane that they just had come sweep through. The Southeast in itself is very, very wet, but we took a look at another game that happened earlier on in the week. The University of Miami looks like the U could be getting back to form. They're 5-0, beat a very scrappy Virginia Tech team 38-34. Going back to you, John Ryan, you talk about that Miami team here. Are they believable? Are they believable in the ACC to compete with Clemson this year as maybe the top two teams in the conference? I look to Clemson to see if they can continue their recent dominance, but Miami is a quiet 5-0, ranked number 7 in the country. How do you think they're going to fare out? Go ahead.
I think they're going to fare out pretty good. It'll be interesting to see what the new AP poll will be come out tomorrow or on Monday. Winning by only 4 points over Virginia Tech in a rather controversial manner, too. It's not going to help them stay in the top 10, but I think they'll probably be in the top 10, probably right around 9 or 10.
Right, we're looking at the coaches poll today. We see Miami already in the coaches poll.
Big Ten, and it's certainly not the SEC.
Yeah, at 4-0. Go ahead.
Georgia and Alabama all in the same conference. So they're going to have to win convincingly, and by 4 points over Virginia Tech, who is now 2-3 on the season. It's not impressive if you want to be a top 10 team and make the playoffs.
Telling you that he's not a big believer in these guys. Now, when you look at the Miami Hurricanes, again, going back to a couple of seasons ago with the ACC having their changeovers, Ronnie B, we'll get your thoughts on this, and then we'll take a short commercial break and then jump into today's action. Miami, are they for real? Can you keep them on your list as a dog bet? I don't think there's a lot of teams that really want to go to South Florida right now with the weather and play, but I think that, again, at 5-0 now, It's a quiet season for them, and it's the quiet teams you got to watch out for. You have Washington State today going up against Boise State, another one of these undefeated teams, +7 dog position. We may even touch on that. I didn't have it on the list to see it here. But Ronnie B, your thoughts on the ACC, and then we'll jump into some more action as soon as we get back with the commercial. Go ahead.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I watched that game, Virginia Tech, last night, and I think the better team lost. I think Miami's a little overrated. The quarterback is good, Ward is good, but I think Virginia Tech played a really good game last night. Should have came out the winner. The fourth quarter did them in. But I think when you see Miami go up against some bigger boys, they'll be the underdog, and I think Clemson will show them what it's all about.
There you go. There you go. He's talking about Clemson, showing you what you're all about. We're going to show you what it's all about when I get back from this short commercial break, guys. You two hang on the line with me, and then all you listeners out in Las Vegas, again, thank you so much for tuning in this morning. KSHP.com, JBTheTicket.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Download the show. Interact with me, too, online. I will talk back to you. I'm normal. Talk to me when you can. JB the Ticket on Instagram, and most importantly, Vegas Scoreboard Express. 107.1 FM AM 1400. Let's get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big board, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express. Giving you that grace.
Steiner's, the Nevada-style pub, invites you to play the best tavern, keno, and video poker in Vegas. Promos are how we roll to make the most of your gaming dollars here with us. Come play our proud partner gaming promotion, Fly Aviators Fly, and receive daily free play, bonuses, and more. With a chance to win awesome brand of prizes and big money for all the jackpots each week. It's not only great gaming that Steiner's Pub has, it's the 24 awesome rotating draft beers and Vegas' best appetizers to match. So join us in supporting your Las Vegas Aviators, Golden Knights, Lights, Aces, and the Raiders as we make history in Vegas. Steiner's, the Nevada-style pub at 8410 West Cheyenne, 1750 North Buffalo, and Las Vegas Boulevard at Windmill. Steiner's, I love this place.
You're tuned into the VSX Digital Sports Network. More fire, more heat. You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express. Turn that shit off. Giving you that green.
All money, all sports, no bull. That's the way I'm coming back to you live here in Las Vegas. KSHP 107.1 FM AM 1400. One heck of a Saturday morning here, guys. We got some dogs barking on the line with you. We're going to jump right into it. Getting back with you, Ronnie B from the Rampart Casino, and of course my main man John Ryan from Predictive Sports Betting Playbook. I was taking a look at this one a couple of weeks ago. I've been following this team. I've been winning a few bets with them. Still got to buy gas and pay for all that high price grocery. It's not going as far as it used to on these small wins, guys, but BYU, rotation number 171, the BYU Cougars are back on the road today, going down to Baylor, rotation number 172. Baylor right now in a slight favorite position. I'm a little bit confused about that. They played a tough Colorado team last week, ended up losing that game on the road. Colorado again on their heels today as they head out to South Florida. Don't know if that game has been canceled or postponed. I'll have to check with the guys on that one, but they were supposed to play University of Central Florida. Talking about Baylor, tough game last week. They played to the hilt, made a mistake at the end, costed them fumbling out of the back of the end zone. Throwing this one over at you, Ronnie B. Is BYU for real? Are they going to come in today? Dog position, decent payout at plus 134. Total is 46 here. I'm looking at BYU all day as a dog that's barking here on the road. Go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you what, I had Baylor last week, and obviously I got stung at the end of the game. So I'm gonna stick with Baylor. I think they're playing good ball. They got a good defense. They're balanced on both sides of the line, and I think that home field is going to be the advantage again today for them. And we'll see. I think it should be a good competitive game. They're both evenly matched. But I have to go with the home team, just laying the short number.
He's telling you going with the home team. Will they open up the door for dog success? John Ryan, your thoughts. Do you think BYU and the way they've been playing, another one of these undefeated teams, again, the BYU Cougars, rotation number 171 on the matchup today, do you think they can get out and get in the game early? That seems to be their game plan. When BYU comes in, they like to get an early touchdown, wear you down in the rest of that first quarter, come out, get another touchdown in the second quarter, and then play defense and wear you down. I think that's why the total is only 46. But your thoughts, John Ryan? Go ahead.
Well, playing at McLean Stadium is going to be a challenge for the number 22 ranked BYU Cougars. And think of it this way. The team that is not ranked, that is 2-2 on the season, 0-1 in the Big 12, is favored by a field goal against a perfect 4-0 BYU squad who's 1-0 in the Big 12. So I think the market is telling you that the proper play here might be to take a look at Baylor minus the 3, and I like Baylor for a play.
He likes Baylor for the play as well. Guys, I got to go ahead and blow it up on your side. I'm going with the dog here, BYU. I think that defense is too strong for Baylor, and if they can't handle a Colorado team that has to beat them in overtime, I also think that fatigue could be a factor. So, again, give me BYU all day. Give me the 3, buy it up to +7 if you're scared, or take them money line. Should be able to get you that +134. Moving along to another game again, guys, here in the SEC. Surprising. Talking about fatigue, talking about best efforts here. Kentucky versus Ole Miss. Again, Kentucky today +17 dog on the road going down to Oxford. But when you talk about the South again, this could be one of those games where the weather is affecting. Kentucky is 2-2, played a very tough game against Georgia a couple of weeks ago in that dog position. That defense showed a lot of muscle. But when you talk about, again, the weather issues, the travel issues, and again, the possibility of Kentucky being a little bit gassed from that very tough defensive performance a couple of weeks ago, -17 for Ole Miss. Ronnie B., you're the king of the favorites here. Been calling them all year. Do you think that Ole Miss rolls today, or do you think Kentucky can hold these guys under that 14-17 if you got them early? Go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you what, my power rankings for myself here, I got Ole Miss number 1 in the country. I like this team a lot. I think they're going to show their true colors again today. I think Kentucky is coming in a bad spot after playing Georgia last week. But Ole Miss, they fire the ball. I mean, they get total yards almost 680 a game. That's impressive. Their defense isn't bad either. They're only giving up about 260 a game. So I think it's going to be a lopsided game. I think Kentucky's going to come in here very tired. And, yes, I'm going to stay with the favorite here, and I'm going to take Ole Miss and lay the points. And it's a client play today as well, so let's go Ole Miss.
There you go. He's liking those Ole Miss Rebels. Going over to you, John Ryan. Kentucky, could fatigue be a factor here? +15, +500, kind of an uneven dog price here. Could be a juicy lay on the bet, but when you talk about it again, the rotation numbers for these two teams, 149 for the Kentucky Wildcats on the road today versus the Mississippi Ole Miss Rebels, if you will. Rotation number 150, -15, 2 touchdowns and a piece of the hook. -700, way too expensive for the money line. Do you got to take them on the points here if you're looking for some money with Ole Miss? Or do you like that dog Kentucky? Do you think they can pull out another defensive stop? Or is it going to be a rundown for Mississippi? Go ahead.
I find it hard for Kentucky in this matchup to back them. As Ronnie said, they're going to be a somewhat tired team. And Mississippi, we think of them as an offensive juggernaut, but actually their defense is a lot of the reason they're doing so well. Ranking 3rd in the nation, allowing 7.3 points per game. And number 2, and a very important metric in my models, points per play. They're only allowing 0.1 points per play, which is just incredibly great and very, very tough to score on them. So with that offense scoring 48 points a game and a defense that is going to make it very tough for Kentucky to score upon, I think Mississippi, it might be close to first half. I think they pull away due to the fatigue of Kentucky really in the second half and win the game by double digits.
Talking about that total, could it be a little bit low here? Talking about an over that type of spread, 50, 52. It's kind of tempting if you can buy it down. Not been a lot of buy downs at the book though, but that could be a low price. I like going over here. If you talk about Mississippi scoring 48 or averaging close to 45 plus a game, if Kentucky even gives me a field goal or 2, we could be talking about it. Or if Mississippi just decides to run the table on these guys, 52 is a low price. Ronnie B., your thoughts? Do you like the over in this game?
Well, Well, I like the side, so I'm going to go with the over. I just think Mississippi is going to roll today. I really do.
There you go. He likes Mississippi. I like the over in this game. Whichever way it happens, if Kentucky has got to get inside of that spread, they got to score. If Mississippi has got to cover that spread, they've got to score. So I think in that game should be over. But again, weather could be a factor to take a look at. So when we jump into another one here, I didn't have it on the list. I wanted to talk about it because we just kind of mentioned it, that Washington State game. Washington State is 4-0. Okay, these guys are going to be staying in the Pac-12. They picked up a few new friends. Fresno State is leaving the Mountain West. We're going to be talking about that with Mark Hayes and the NIL situation. They're going to be on the matchup today. But I wanted to throw this one at you, Ronnie B, because Washington State is a team that you kind of follow. Do you think that Washington State are for real, or are they a dog that's barking? Okay, Washington, we know, is on a down year. They don't have what they need. There's no Michael Penix Jr. There's no head coach. He went down to Alabama. So when you see that perspective, can Washington State continue their rise to be relevant in the dog betting positions? Like I said before, another 4-0 team. No one is really talking about them, and they have been playing some solid football. Go ahead.
I'll tell you what, I do like this game. I think it's going to be a up and down the field game. I like the over in this game. I think it's a 65.5. I'm not sure exactly. And the offenses are both going to perform very well. Now, to be a 7.5-point dog on the road, it's tough to win at Boise State. So it's last year, I think the game was a 3-point game, and I think it'll be a close game again today. But I like the scoring matchup today.
He likes the scoring matchup, thinks it's going to go over. Now, jumping back into another game that we were talking about on the list, Wisconsin, USC. Now, the USC Trojans have been playing some good football. Took a loss last week on the road over at Michigan, though. And that's what concerns me. Michigan hadn't shown me much. And then for USC, that had shown me somewhat the ability to control games, had some snags on the road. Ronnie B, I'll stay with you on this one, and then John Ryan will let you jump in on this. I'm talking about the USC Trojans at home, playing a Wisconsin team not known for explosive offense, but their defense, 2-1, both 2-1, total of 50.5. So you got a USC team that can get in scoring lulls and a Wisconsin team that doesn't score a lot. Could we be looking at a dog under here for Wisconsin to maybe get inside of that spread, not win the game, but play enough defense and disrupt that USC offense just enough as what last week Michigan did to get inside of that spread? Go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm glad you brought up USC and Michigan, because I think last week we gave out Michigan, and it was a nice play for everybody. And I think what's happening is USC and the Pac people are looking at the Big Ten and finding out that it's one in the trenches, and I think that's what USC is going to feel again today. I don't think USC is going to have a hard time winning the game, but I think it'll be a lot closer and within the number.
There you go, talking about that dog then barking, plus a 15 of the USC Trojans, number 13 team in the nation here. If you want to listen to that game, it's right here, 107.1 FM and AM 1400 when you're on the road, riding around, doing your work, getting in between bets, in between deliveries, or just enjoying your Saturday. Be sure to tune in right here with 107.1 FM. Keep it locked here, 107.1. and AM 1400. I got doubled up there looking at all these rotation numbers. Going back to the list here, I wanted to talk about another game that's kind of weird now. It's gone down to a pick'em. Just some quick thoughts on it. Duke, North Carolina today. Rotation number 127, 128. It's a pick'em. It's in the ACC. Two of them in the bucket, talking about those turds, see which one goes down first. Is there any realistic situation now where North Carolina can be taken seriously? No money line on this game. Is this just one for the Tobacco Road alumni? John Ryan, I'll throw that one at you.
Well, I like the under in this game. Who could not remember last week when North Carolina scored 50 points and basically was destroyed? Those things just don't go on week after week. So I think this total is a little bit inflated by that recency bias, and I would play the under here. And if they do get out to a fast start, and you see the total in the 60s, I think that's a good live-in game that sprinkle more money on.
There you go. Now let's go back to that Wisconsin USC game. Wisconsin rotation number 197 plus 14.5. My friends over at BetUS, BetUS.com. Use offer code VSX125. They'll double up your deposit in legal jurisdiction. In rotation number 198, the USC Trojans, minus 600, plus 450. Now, we don't think the dog is barking that much to beat USC here. But again, that total, as Ronny B was talking about, 50.5. The trenches are calling for the Trojans. As you saw last week, the guy even tried to put the sword into the turf. I mean, come on, buddy. Come on. But the reality here is the Wisconsin Badgers play a brand of Big Ten football that's ground and pound and relies on a good defense and a linebacker stop front. USC relies on athletic ability. Do you think that Wisconsin can keep that game close strictly with defense? If they can disrupt defense, or is playing in the Coliseum going to be a bit too much for Wisconsin, being it's going to be one of their first times out there as a Big Ten member with USC? Go ahead, John Ryan.
Well, we think of Wisconsin traditionally as a running team, and this is not a running team so far this year. They ranked 80th nationally, averaging 4 yards a rush. Not very good at all. Rushing play percentage is only 55%, which is normal for them, but that ranks 44th in the country, and the passing game is just not offsetting what they're not gaining on the ground. And I don't see how on earth Wisconsin's offense is going to be able to stay up with a USC offense that is averaging 33 points per game, which ranks 36, kind of mediocre. But they're also gaining 470 yards per game. That ranks 22nd nationally. In points per play, they're .46. So I think USC, contrary to what Wisconsin has done, Wisconsin wears down teams. I think in this situation, Wisconsin's going to get a dose of their own medicine, and USC is going to, blow them out.
There you go. He's talking about a big blowout for a USC. Let's hope so, guys. We got to take a short commercial break. Give a quick shout out. Let the fans know where they can find you on social media. Again, we thank you so much for coming on. Again, John Ryan will stick with you here. John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook, and RotoWire.com. Where can they find you?
Well, number one at the X, at John Ryan Sports, number one. I want to thank the people that actually contacted me for the free 10-unit game of the month on the NFL card last week, which won, and it was the Philadelphia Eagles. We sweated it out, but the Eagles pulled it out and won as a 3-point dog. So that was all good, and I'm doing the same thing today. JB, so anybody wants to direct message me on the X, I'll give you today's 10-unit game of the month in college football.
10-unit game of the month, college football. You can't beat it for free here exclusively on a Vegas Scoreboard Express. You better get that before 10 o'clock in the morning, because once the show goes out live on the replay set up, I think John Ryan might pull that deal. But again, you got to hit him up. John Ryan Sports 1 on the X-Bird, a.k.a. Twitter. Hit him in the DM. And then, of course, my main man over at the Rampart Casino, Ronny B. Where can they find you, man, unless they're going to go over to the book and hang out with you and drink cognac? Go ahead.
Well, we get a lot of them coming over to the book and saying hi, so we appreciate that. But you can get me on Instagram, Ronny B 702, RONNY B 702. We got a free play out there in the NFL on Sunday between the Minnesota Vikings and Green Bay Packers.
There you go, Minnesota Vikings, Green Bay Packers. Ronny should be back tomorrow for the NFL. Hopefully John Ryan will be back as well. But I'll be here, and we're going to get back into more college football. But my main man, Mark Hayes, KSHP AM 1400, going to be talking the situation at UNLV. And, of course, they're on the line today. We're going to tell you where to get that money.
You're listening to the boss of the big boy, JB the Tech Ad. Skip your cable bill this month and join the action with JB and Fubo TV. Get 7 days free, 15% off your first month. No credit check, no deposit, no installation hassle. Go to FuboTV.com/JB. Sign up, download the app, and start watching games.
Enjoy being a subscriber after the first month. Easy cancellation anytime. Regional restrictions apply. Sign up at VegasScoreboardExpress.com.
Yo. You're in the mix. World's finest, man.
You're listening to the boss of the big boy, JB the Tech Ad. Vegas Sports, giving you that grip.
Back at you live here in studio. My main man Mark Hayes live on the line with me. Good morning, Mark. How you doing?
Hey, I'm back, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
I'm glad to have you back. Yes. Saturday in the building, Saturday morning college football. Again, back at you live. JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express on the one and only KSHP here, the home of the shopping show. I got the host and station director here with me, Mark Hayes, along with John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook, RotoWire.com, and Ronnie B from the Rampart Casino here in Vegas, and Ronnie B 702 Sports Betting Service. So we're talking about this game here between UNLV and Fresno State. You know, UNLV had some issues this week. We were in the news for all the wrong reasons. Right when we got in the coaches poll, moved up 2 ranks to 23, I think, today, but we had an issue with the quarterback, already losing him. Matthew Sluka gone. His alma mater today is a 31-point dog to Syracuse, if you will. Do you think maybe they're trying to call him back home with some extra money? But you talk about this situation in the NIL, which seems to have been the reason why he left. Give us some insights on really what went down over there at UNLV, and do they have a sufficient replacement in Hajj Malik Williams? You see that he may get the start today, and then was listening to head coach Barry Odom's radio show, and he says he's got another quarterback in the wings as well. So I don't think it'll affect him from a player roster standpoint, but how do you think it affects him from a business standpoint, and how does this reflect not only on UNLV, but the rest of the greater college sports landscape in the NIL era going forward? Go ahead.
Well, you know, one thing too, JB, I mean, we got to remember this whole, the NIL, things that started to happen for these college players getting paid. It's kind of a learning curve. Everybody's kind of learning how to handle money, how to handle who should get paid, how much should they get paid. You got all these different publications saying the guys' evaluation is at this amount, and you know, how do they get to that number? And so, I mean, it's still a work in progress, but I think this situation here was a lack of communication. I think on 2 parts. One, from some real close sources that I have right in the building, the player, a coach was made a verbal agreement to the player, which is Sluka, that they would be able to give him $100,000. And as far as him and his agent goes, they didn't get that in writing. They didn't get that in a contract, which most NIL deals are all set up by contract, whether it's a corporate sponsor, a donor, whether it's a business, whatever the case may be. You have a department that handles NIL contracts, and UNLV has that same department, and nothing was discussed with the head coach, the NIL department. So when it came down to it, his agent and himself did not get anything in writing. So a kid can walk around and say, well, this coach offered me $50,000, and if I don't get it, I'm not going to play. So that's where I think on both sides was wrong. And I also think the coach should be kind of put on a accountability. If he was offering a kid this amount of money and knowing he couldn't deliver that so the kid would come to the school, now you're giving him false pretenses where he could have probably went somewhere else and probably got some money according to his evaluation. And with Matthew, his evaluation was only about $85,000. His evaluation, that's leaving Holy Cross. And so he played in the first 3 games. He got some great film. But he's not a guy that walked in that building and said, hey, you got to give me this money or I'm leaving. I don't think that was the case. I think this coach, and it was offensive coordinator Brent Marion, spoke a little bit too soon about what they were going to pay him. And then this kid was expecting that money. And some sources also said that it was all a verbal agreement. It wasn't anything written down, wasn't anything handshake, wasn't anything other than a verbal agreement with Sluka and his team. And by them not getting it in writing, UNLV decided to take the stance of, we didn't know about it. We were never contacted in our compliance department. And so with that being said, with the NILs, if it's nothing in writing, you don't have to, it's hearsay. So
yeah, Mark, let me break it down for you. Mark, breaking it down. Let me tell you guys the legal concept behind that. It's called the statute of frauds. Anytime you got a contract for over $500 alleged, it has the parties to have to be aware and in the intent. And if the parties that are supposed to sign off on that, apparently the coach didn't have the capacity. That's another legal issue there. But also you raised an issue of possible reliance here. So when you go into that situation, John Ryan, now that you've heard your thoughts, I know you spent some time on Wall Street and in the advertising world. What are your thoughts here? Do you think that UNLV is going to be kind of the case study, if you will, for other schools going forward as far as offering these kids NIL deals or incentives to play for their team? Go ahead.
Well, it's going to bring in more legal attorneys into this matchup for sure.
I sure do hope so, because I need the money in the future. Go ahead.
You know, the thing that blew my mind with this, I don't understand, and maybe I'm wrong stating this opinion, is if somebody offers you $100,000 to do something, whether it's to add an addition onto your house or build a swimming pool, don't you have a contract?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's called a substantial performance. I mean, he did go out there for 3 games, played substantially well, helped them to the ranking. So there would be some metal there if this was to say, just hypothetically speaking, not giving any legal advice, not giving any legal capacity, just telling you from what I know from study and what I know, he substantially performed for the team. So they could try to hold them to that. But again, the reality is that the person making that offer didn't have the capacity. And when you get to the meat and nitty gritty of it, you can argue it in court and what was reasonable and unreasonable, a jury or a judge would decide. But the reality here is that kids now have to realize that their value, you said the young man had an agent and he didn't get it in writing. I mean, I wouldn't do anything like that. Yeah. But the reality here is that these young men and women, if you will, that are coming into their college sports respectively, have to be aware of this. And I talked about this a couple of years ago on my show. I've been talking about it continually. This is the very first clawback. Remember I was talking to you about this, Mark? This is the very first clawback. The school said, no, this offer isn't real. This isn't a valid offer. We weren't aware. You weren't the intended party, yada, yada, yada. Now you did come here. Well, what induced you to come here? Yada, yada. But we did do this. And all that's got to get sorted out in court. But the bottom line is this is the first clawback. So, again, going over to you, Ronnie B., you were in business 20 years, restaurateur, very successful. Used to feed the Chicago Bulls, I heard, back in the day. Pretty smooth brother. You would be one of these business owners who would possibly give an NIL to a team or to an individual. How would you play this now from a business perspective, looking at UNLV as maybe a case study? Go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you what, if this NIL is going to stick around and be real, they better have some laws and rules put in. Why would this young man step on the field in 3 games without the contract being fulfilled? I mean, who's to blame on? What's going on? If the NIL is going to stick around, which I hope it doesn't, because I think it's going to ruin college football. And I think that's why Mr. Saban stepped out of it, too. I don't think he agrees with it, but I just think it's going to ruin college football. These players are going to bounce around, and there's no rules or regulations right now from what we're looking at.
Well, that's a tough situation. Rules and regulations can be applied by a toothless NCAA, but they've kind of been pushed to the side here. The big money has moved in. Mark Hayes, I'm going to throw back to you because I see you here in studio, nodding your head again. Mark Hayes, the chief of the radio shopping show, Monday through Friday, early in the morning. You guys got to wake up for those deals. But also, he's a former college player here at UNLV. He's also spent some time in NFL camp, so he's been through it, still in shape. He's helped many, many other young men go to the league. This NIL deal, the affecting of their playing. We talked about a possible solution. Go into that for me, if you will.
Well, I mean, I agree and disagree with anybody when they start saying the guys shouldn't get paid. As a former athlete and as a former guy that didn't get paid, these guys are making these institutions millions and billions of dollars. The coaches can make $10 million or $5 million. And these guys aren't able to, get money off their likeness. I do think if there was some kind of structure in play where when we look at the NIL deals and situations, it's only a small fraction of people on the team getting money.
Right.
A very small fraction, right? So they can control that small fraction. Your kicker, your long snapper, maybe your lineman, those guys they're excited to just get a Big Mac and, maybe a couple of $100. They're happy with that. So this NIL deal can be structured a lot of different ways, JB. And me and you talked about it. I mean, I'm not a rocket science. I don't know. I have a degree in, business or anything, but if kids are going to be getting paid, which it's going to continue, it will continue because it just needs to be structured. And we discussed even the idea of it being like NFL free agency from July 31st till December or January 1st, whenever that last bowl game is. No NIL deals are talked about. No NIL deal. You can't go to a commercial shoot. You can't go to a photo shoot. You can't post nothing on your social media. But then come January 1st or January 10th, whatever the last bowl game is, from January to July is where you can go and out and make as much money as you can. But come football season, in the off season, do everything you can to make money. So we don't have a Matthew Sluka situation where you played 3 games and you knew that 4th game, if you played, you could not redshirt. So, and it wasn't just Matt. That's what a lot of people don't know is it was about 50 other players around the country, other schools that said, I'm going to take my redshirt year and skip my, playing in that 4th game. So he got so much publicity because UNLV is 3-0. It happened kind of unexpectedly.
Right.
And he was going to take his redshirt year. But when all that being said, if you are going to have a institution, make it where guys can do their commercials, do their NIL deals. I don't want them focusing on that during football
preseason and off season. When you're in the preseason,
you're not doing nothing. You're not doing nothing.
Do your
January.
commercials, sign your deals, have your agent put you out there. Football season, you come in, you focus on the field,
and you play football. And nothing else. And if you are out trying to get deals, sorry. JB,
we got to make a business decision.
We got to do it in January.
We got to do it in January. Got to hold it out.
Let's negotiate in January because right now I got to focus on winning games.
Right. And that's the important thing, too, is because with the financial commitment now and signing these contracts, the conditional performance, the, substantial performance, these are all elements and things that I've been learning. You see me coming in here with the books, getting back to Greece. But I'm telling you from experience as well, when you do trigger these, clauses in contracts and things where you kind of, trigger that cutoff clause, that's, condition subsequent. If you do this, then this triggers this whole other set of things, but you can't go back. A lot more players are going to have to recognize that and understand that from the standpoint of this is now a business.
No, it is. I mean,
and they got to play. And they got to play. And they got to play it by business rules.
It's a business. And like I said, I don't think nobody wants to sanction it. Nobody wants to be the one to say, look, this is how it's going to be. And I think each institution should be able to have that
What's going to
opportunity.
Happen, in my experience in the industry I'm in now, what's going to happen, it's going to be a case. It's going to be a case that starts off at the state level. It's going to move to a federal circuit. And what similar to thing happened with the NIL deal in itself.
Yeah.
It could even be a supplemental to the NIL. There's different ways the courts do this, but it's going to come from a case. A case precedent is going to set the rules and regulations, and the court is going to bring in the statement of contracts, restatement of contracts. Again, shout out to all my folks over at my law school, rocking and rolling with me. You hear me dropping the grease here, but that's what's going to happen. This is going to be set up by case precedent. I'm going to give you other guys, John Ryan, quick 30 seconds. Again, your business thoughts, former Wall Streeter. You can comment on my thoughts, Mark Hayes' thoughts, and then Ronnie B will go to commercial break with you and then come back with our best plays of the day. Go ahead.
I agree with everything you guys said, and I am concerned it's going to wreck college football as it is. I'm old school. You get a full ride to a good academic school and you get a degree. What more money do you need? Go out and earn the money then, right? That's all I have to say.
There you go. John Ryan, Predictor Sports Betting Playbook. Ronnie B, I'll let you go to commercial break. If they do it the way we say, just restrict you guys from doing any monetary activity during the season. Do it all in the preseason and the offseason. Do you think that can help improve the situation with the NIL? 10 seconds, then we go to break. Go ahead.
No, I'm going to agree with John. I'm old school as well. The college education is very expensive these days, and that's getting paid if you're a scholarship guy. Only 1%, if that, make it to the NFL. So they're in college for the education, not to play and get paid.
There you go. These guys are old school. Telling you the new school here. JB, the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express, my main man Mark Hayes, live in studio. When we come back, we're going to jump into it. Best plays of the day. You guys keep it locked here with me. Let's get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express, giving you that grease.
STN Sports is the only sports betting app you need this season. STN Sports has it all. In-play betting, mobile parlay cards, the Play Plus card to fund and withdraw from anywhere in Nevada, and the latest lines on every game. STN Sports even lets you earn rewards on every bet. Safe and easy betting from your phone or tablet. Go to stationcasinosports.com or sign up at any Station Casino, Fiesta Wildfire, or the El Cortez. Details at the sportsbooks.
Skip your cable bill this month and join the action with JB and Football TV. Get 7 days free, 15% off your first month. No credit check, no deposit, no installation hassle. Go to FootballTV.com/JB. Sign up, download the app, and start watching games.
Enjoy being a subscriber after the first month. Easy cancellation anytime. Regional restrictions apply. Sign up at VegasScoreboardExpress.com.
Step into a world of refined taste with Flaviar Whiskey. As a member of this exclusive whiskey club, you'll immerse yourself in a journey where every sip unveils layers of luxurious flavor and unmatched elegance. Discover the art of whiskey, crafted for those who appreciate the finer things. Join Flaviar and elevate your evening with the smooth, sophisticated spirit that defines exceptional taste. Membership opens the door to a world of rare and exquisite whiskey, curated just for you. Pour yourself a glass and let the blues carry you away. Flaviar Whiskey. Experience the exceptional. Join now.
Join Flaviar Whiskey Club exclusively at jbtheticket.com.
JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express. I'm back at you live. I got my main man Mark Hayes on the line with me. John Ryan, Predictor Sports Betting Playbook. Ronnie B, the Rampart King of the Casino. Over to my website, jbtheticket.com. The best plays of the day. John Ryan, again, thank you so much for staying the full hour this morning. What's your best play? Where can we get some money with you this morning? Go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you, I like the under in the Ohio State game, and I'll tell you real quick why. It's pretty rare you get a total that is less than the average points scored by one of the teams involved. And that's the situation here with Ohio State scoring 52 a game. And then the total being 48.5 is what I'm seeing now. So totals they go under the total 42 and 17 for 72% winning bets, going all the way back to 1990. If the game occurs in week 4 on out to the end of the regular season. So whenever the total is less than the team's average points per game, it's an automatic under bet for me, and I think Ohio State will probably pitch a shutout.
He's talking about Ohio State and the defense again, pitching a shutout. John Ryan, thank you so much. Ronnie B, what are your plays of the day, my friend? Go ahead.
I'll tell you what, we've got 2 plays in the same game for best bet today. We're going to go to the big game of the day, Georgia versus Alabama. We're going to give you we like the under in the first half at 24. I think they're going to come out slow and throw punches back and forth and see what happens. But I like the under, and then I like Bama for the whole game. Kirby's just 1-4 against Bama. I know that was under Saban, but you're going to give me points at home with that Bama, I'm taking it.
There you go. He likes Alabama at home. And then Mark Hayes live here in studio. We got Fresno State and UNLV today, man. Do you think the turmoil is going to be a little bit shaky?
Nope. We're going to play defense. We're going to play special teams. We're going to play offense. I believe in Malik Williams. I think he's going to come out and show the country, show the world, because all eyes is on UNLV today. All eyes is on UNLV today. I think this kid's going to come out, run the ball, pass the ball. I think he takes UNLV to a victory, and he's the man now, and I believe in him. And
there you go.
They'll cover that 2.5.
There you go. Former Camel, right?
Rebels.
Camel Hump. Now he's a Rebel.
He's a good quarterback. He can play just like Sluka. He got the same kind of motor as far as running the ball, and I think he's a better passer. I'm going with UNLV today. With all eyes on UNLV, take the Rebels with the point.
That's what I'm saying. Take the Camel's help now wearing the Rebel Cowboy hat. Again, guys, thank you so much for waking up with me here this Saturday. VSX Digital Sports Network producing the show. KSHP AM 1400, waking you up each and every Saturday and Sunday. Again, thank you to Mark Hayes for coming on the show, dropping his grease on the NIL. Again, guys, we're Ronnie B here at the Rampart Casino. Ronnie B, where are you going to be at this afternoon? Go ahead.
I'm heading over to the Rampart right now. We should be there in a half hour.
There you go. And you know what time it is, folks. Enjoy your Saturday. Let's get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big board, JB the Ticket. Skip your cable bill this month and join the action with JB and Fubo TV. Get 7 days free, 15% off your first month. No credit check, no deposit, no installation hassle. Go to FuboTV.com/JB. Sign up, download the app, and start watching games.
Enjoy being a subscriber after the first month. Easy cancellation anytime. Regional restrictions apply. Sign up at VegasScoreboardExpress.com.